Everyone. It's 7 o'clock p.m. I'd like to go ahead and start this meeting. Before I do that, we got a large crowd in here tonight. Would like to ask you to go ahead and silence your phones and try to keep your talking down to a minimum, please.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
The City Council for the City of Brookshire, Texas will hold a regular session city council meeting and public hearing on proposed 2024-2025 tax rate on September the 19th, 2024 at 7 o'clock p.m. in the city council chambers for the purpose of considering the following. I'd like to go ahead and do the
This
prayer
is a demonstration
and the
of
pledge before we
Wirecast.
go any further.
Gracious Father, which art in heaven, we come before thee with gratitude in our hearts and express that thanks for the gospel of Jesus Christ and for the good news it brings. We're grateful, Father, for this opportunity to gather together this night for the benefit of our city and the citizens thereof. We're grateful, Father,
This is a
for
demonstration of
thy wisdom and
Wirecast.
direction in all things and for helping us to know how we can best follow thee in the things that we do. This night we ask for thy Spirit to be with us, that we might be guided in wisdom and in the choices that we make, that we might know best how we can build and serve the city of Brookshire for the citizens thereof. We ask you to be with our families that we can't be with tonight, that they might be held in the hollow of thy hand. We ask you especially this night to be with those that volunteer to stand between us and harm's way. Keep them protected and safe, we pray.
This is a
In the name
demonstration
thy
of
Son, Jesus
Wirecast.
Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Okay. Ms. Molina, will you do the roll call for us?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Present.
Taylor,
Here.
Alderman McAnally,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Richards,
Present.
Mayor Branch,
Present.
Alderman McDade.
Present.
We'll move on down to agenda item number 5, public comments. Public comments in ordinance with the Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code 551.
This is a
007.
demonstration of Wirecast.
City council may not discuss or take action on any item that's not listed on the agenda. Each member of the public wishing to speak must sign in prior to the meeting and is limited to 3 minutes. Okay, the first person we have is Miss Amber. Could you pronounce your last name for me?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Well, thank you for allowing me the 3 minutes. My name is Amber Gustafson. I do not live in Brookshire, but I do have property here that other of your residents do live in. And I care for the property very much so, as much as they do. I enjoy Brookshire very much, and I love coming down here, even if there are little things that I have to go do the repairs to make things work, because I'm the manager too. So, but I also know that I see the city.
This is a
in the last 3 years
demonstration
that I've
of
owned it, and I come
Wirecast.
down here, that it is doing great improvements. And with those great improvements, that's gonna be only the trajectory of what you all decide here, city council, as to where you want its citizens to go and how you want it to grow. And I'm a resident of Katy, and I've been a resident of Katy for 25, 28 years, and I've seen it grow. And with that growth, it, either we're a part of it, or you let Houston roll over it. And the city of Katy finally took bull by the horns and
This
says,
is
we're
a
gonna take
demonstration of
control. And I
Wirecast.
think what you guys have done with the city and having a city administrator have you accountable for your funds. I know I have to hire professionals for myself, I'm not a tax person, to make sure that I'm done correctly, and I love the fact that you have somebody that is dotting your i's, crossing your t's, and making sure that the city of Brookshire is run on a positive trajectory, and I can probably speak for even people that live here too, that they're probably happy that they see the improvement. So I thank you for allowing me to
This is
speak
a
for my 3
demonstration
minutes,
of
and I
Wirecast.
want to continue. I'd like to move out here into Brookshire. I keep looking for land all the time. Look at my heart's always got, everything's been yellow. I've been looking, not yellow, but like blue, so I've been looking at everything. But I think it's great out here, and what you guys are doing is fantastic. I was born in Detroit and grew up there, came down to Texas and boom, of the bust of Detroit and the boom of Houston, and would never go back. I love this town. Kind of reminds me of home. So I thank you guys for giving me the moment.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Next, we have Mr. David Baker.
It is hard to hear. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Next, we have Miss
This is a demonstration
Christy
of
Smith.
Wirecast.
That's me. Hi, I'm Christy Smith. I'm a business owner and a resident of Simonton, but I'm also a business owner for T&H Welding in Brookshire. Some of y'all may know Tommy and Harley Smith. We've supported the Manor House for over 10 years as my brother-in-law went through recovery there. I just want to express to this council how beyond blessed you are to have Jennifer Ward as your city manager. I noticed she's being up for discussion in executive session. I have a vested interest in Simonton and Brookshire as a business owner. I have been at meeting
This
after
is a
meeting in our
demonstration
town,
of
Simonton,
Wirecast.
in the council after the last year since we've lost Jennifer and Erica, and they have attempted to defund, paralyze, and take our city back to a fifth ward state. Like, no repairs are happening, we're going backwards with the low tax rate that they're proposing for us, and they're even worthy of taking it to zero. It's very, very frightening. I have been at meeting and meeting after that, trying to speak my voice as an invested business owner with Jennifer, Erica, Mayor Boudreaux. Our past council left our city very healthy,
This is a
growing,
demonstration of
budgeted,
Wirecast.
and one of the only debt-free cities in Fort Bend County, which is large. You gave Jennifer Ward by default to Simonton. She is an asset. I have lived in Simonton for 24 years under the leadership of Jennifer, 5 of those years. I've flooded my house twice. I've elevated with the grace of them getting me a $50,000 grant on my house from the state of Texas. So they helped me repair, lift, and even helped me get the funds because they got to a point where they didn't want to pay out. I went to
This
City
is a
Hall. Those 2 girls put
demonstration of
$50,000
Wirecast.
help to fight the state of Texas to give me that money back that I had to take out of my retirement account. So we have watched the lawyer fees go to a minimal, which now our city, the lawyer fees are going up because we don't have a city manager to advocate the knowledge and the skill that she has. Fees were at a minimal, grant funding was happening. We accomplished a 10-year drainage project in 2 years with these 2 ladies here. 10-year project was accomplished in 2 years. It was amazing. All of our culverts that didn't
This is
drain,
a
they drain now.
demonstration of
Multiple road
Wirecast.
repairs with part of FEMA funding since they damaged them in the floods. We got money from FEMA to give us a subsidy to subside some of those roads that were damaged. They did that. Drainage, community involvement, and Jennifer was a startup of Keep Simonton Beautiful we established to keep trash off our highways, recycle education in front of our city, and basically she's a doer and a server to her community. To even see her up for discussion, when I read the word deliberate, I read continuous
This
and
is a
intentional.
demonstration of Wirecast.
That's not good. I can't imagine that you would intentionally try to terminate the best employee Brookshire has probably had for decades. If your goal for Brookshire is to go backwards and not move forward, then the choice is clear. I pray that you keep her as your city manager. If not, there's cities out there looking for someone as intelligent as her. That's it.
Next, we have Mr. Michael
This
Koza.
is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Good evening, City Council, Mayor Branch. My name is Michael Kozar. And I've been a citizen for 4.5 years here and plan on being many more years. I may not grew up here, but Brookshire's my town and my home, and I want is what's best for this city and its citizens. But I'm tired of seeing the city administrator rape and tear down this city. She has
This
done
is a
nothing but tear the city
demonstration
down.
of Wirecast.
She's been here over a year, and I'm tired of hearing her say it was a past administration. Well, how about saying it was done improperly and we're working to correct it by moving forward? Not once has she said them words. Now, people got upset with me on one Brookshire, and to me, if it offended people, then the shoe must fit. But don't have to worry about me being on there anymore because the coward that runs that
This
website
is a
deleted me.
demonstration of Wirecast.
But if you have a problem with what I post, feel free to contact me, because I am a man on my own, and I will say and speak what I'd like. But what I do not like is him slandering my wife by posting an inappropriate picture and remarks on that website. Stop being a coward, because you had nothing to do, she had nothing to do with it. With what I post, come to me and address me. Be a man about it and stop
This
hiding
is a
behind fake
demonstration
profiles.
of Wirecast.
And stand up for what you believe in, as I'm standing up for what I believe in. The city administrator, she needs to find a new city to ruin, because I'm going to do my best to stop her from ruining Brookshire anymore. Thank you for letting me speak.
Okay, next we have Beatrice Campion.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Good morning, good afternoon, council and citizens. My name is Beatrice Compian. I was born and raised here in Brookshire and graduated from Morrill. I am here today on this stand to clarify something, and I'm not the person to comment or to talk about people, especially on media. I got a message on Tuesday, September the 17th at 8:19, a picture
This is a demonstration
of
of
me helping the mayor
Wirecast.
with his laptop from Jeremiah Hill. It was confirmed that it was him because when he was here, he took that picture and he showed a coworker of us, and that was confirmed the next day. I just want people to know this is not the City of Brookshire website. This is our city website. This is what you need to see so you know what's going on in the city, not the negativity.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I sit here meeting after meeting. The city is doing better. In some ways, yes. But for who? It is a hostile environment. There's no communication. Watching cameras all the time. The windows are frosted. Can't even see in them. Customers can't see who's there, who's not. Watching all over us. I never like to speak up because I was fear of losing my job. Retaliation. But I'm tired. I am here to help our citizens and make a difference in the city. I don't want to be
This is
treated
a
any different
demonstration
either.
of Wirecast.
Everybody is welcome to attend and voice their opinion in the meetings. Let's make a difference together.
Okay, next, Miss Maria.
I'm so sorry, I accidentally signed, that was yeah, it's okay. Don't worry, I just love everybody.
This is a demonstration of
And
Wirecast.
next we have Pastor Barley. Okay,
I have 3 minutes, and I can say something. To the mayor and the council, I've been here over 50 years too. And the situation that God has for this city is to make it
This is
a
a
great
demonstration
city.
of
And the
Wirecast.
reason I know that, the word of the Lord came many years ago saying that he would make it an oasis. And so I just believe what he said, you know. And so I believe that there's greatness, you know, for the city. And, but the one thing we have to do is be able to get along with each other. You know, and sometimes I was called to Purview to work, and I went to a business course, and I went into
This is a demonstration
that
of
type
Wirecast.
of job late. And they told me, they said, you coming in as a secretary late. You know, so they were wondering how I was going to make it, you know, because I'd never been a secretary. But I had been a housekeeper. Well, I raised 6 children, and I went in to start, I would get out after they, you know, grew up. And so when I went to Purview, I had
This
taken
is
a
a
business course,
demonstration
but I
of
didn't know
Wirecast.
a lot of things that I needed to know. And guess what? They gave me to be secretary for the vice president emeritus. And I knew how to do some things, but I didn't know how to do a lot of things. But there were people that was surrounded me to help me through this until I learned. So if the wheel is already working, then you just, you know, let the people help you.
Demonstration of Wirecast.
So I'm just saying, I thought about that on the way here to the meeting. You know, I didn't know what I was going to say or anything. But if you have qualified people who can surround you and help you to go to another level, I think that's great. But it takes humility. It takes humility, and it takes seeking the face of God to know if this is His will or not. We can't just reject things because we feel bad, because some of us might be
This is a
prejudiced or whatever.
demonstration of Wirecast.
But if you know the qualifications and everything, you know, and I let those people help me because I didn't really know it all. And so I think that's a good thing. You know, when you go into business and you don't know everything, humble yourself and let those people who do know teach you. And that's humility, and you will gain a lot of wisdom if you do that. So I worked for the Vice President
This is a
Emeritus
demonstration of
9
Wirecast.
years. Amen. And I was able to accomplish great things. You know, but I had to humble myself because I didn't really know.
Next, we have Laurie McAnally.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Hi, I'm Lori McAnally, and I had some thoughts about the agenda, and granted, these are just my thoughts, and I wanted to share them with you. On the agenda item 8A, you're talking about the procedure courts with the judges. I think that is awesome, and I'm really glad that the judge is here. I know in the budget workshop last week, there was a lot of discussion about that sometimes there was
This
even
is
more
a
tickets dismissed
demonstration
than what
of
we had
Wirecast.
been issuing, and I'm glad that that's something that's getting taken care of. On 8B, I still have some issues of there's so many people in Brookshire, and you talk about wanting people in Brookshire to have these positions, and some people are complaining that we're looking outside Brookshire, yet you're looking outside Brookshire for the EDC committee. On line item 8D, looks like another investigation into Jeremiah Hill. It seems like we've paid for several of those, and it'd be great if we could move on. The budget workshop, they talked
This
about
is
the
a
tens of thousands of
demonstration of
dollars that we are
Wirecast.
missing out on as a city because we don't have permits and things organized in such a way that our city is getting the funds that it needs and the expenses that we have. And I'm thinking that might be a better use of our funds. Like I said, these are just my opinions, you know. Okay, 8F, a Veterans Day event. My father was a paratrooper in World War II. He jumped to the 82nd. I have several members of my family. A brother worked for the Department of Defense in Washington for 40 years, and I would
This
love
is a
to have our
demonstration
city
of Wirecast.
have some type of celebration for that. And I know we had one, I think it was last year. We've done some really great things for that. I do think that it's not necessarily the city's budget that needs to pay for those things. My experience has been if there's buy-in from the community and different organizations, there's much more participation, there's a lot more benefit to the community. And if it's going to turn into something that the city is paying for, then I certainly hope that we're going to be responsible and ask for a budget before that's been approved, before they do anything.
Wirecast.
8H, the new trash service. It seems like we haven't had a lot of options and there's a lot of issues, so I'm glad you guys are looking at that. 8I, going back to a different bank service. Back in the 22-23 City Council, they requested Wells Fargo to have representatives available to talk to them and discuss issues of not paying on checks. We had employees and vendors having checks returned, and Wells Fargo was not willing to make any type of communication to assist us. And they were not also allowing us the access to the high yield interest programs that are available to government entities. And under the new bank, our city budget has a 99% increase on interest that's being earned on our money because it's being used properly. On 9A, this is about the employment of the city administrator. If anyone read Israel's post on Facebook, you'll know how much work the city administrator is doing for our city. Before we had a city administrator, there was 3 years with no new budget. They were just copying and pasting. And you admitted that at the workshop meeting, that you were just copying and pasting the budget because nobody was putting a budget together. And so now with the new budget, we're able to have tax decreases 2 years in a row. We're looking at funding that's being, now we're having to also pay IRS penalties because things weren't being taken care of. We need some types of checks and balances.
Ma'am.
Okay, my last one is, there are so many good things, and I guess what really upsets me as some of you, shame on you for the way you are talking in public meetings that are being recorded about some of these employees. You can have your own opinions. I mean, everybody does, right? We're human. That's what we're going to do. But to sit there and meeting after meeting, week after week, month after month, to tell people that their position isn't valid, their position isn't needed. And I saw that workshop meeting for over 2 hours. I stopped counting at over 35 questions. And every single question, she was flipping through that 100-page budget, finding exactly what the answers were and what was going on. And if you guys want to go back to the way things were, that'd be great, because you know what? Everyone's going to take advantage of things. They're not going to be done properly. We're going to start getting fined again by the IRS. We're going to have interest issues and budgets. And that's personally not a city that a lot of people are going to want to come to. And that's a shame.
Next, we have Ms. Laurie.
This is a demonstration of
Yes, ma'am.
Wirecast.
All the vowels in a row. Probably not the best handwriting. I'm Laurie Boudreau. I am your neighbor. I'm the mayor in the city of Simonton, just south of here. Simonton's very small. We have a population of less than 1,000. 5 years ago, or 6 I guess now, I hired Jennifer as the very first city administrator for the city of Simonton. And boy, is she a powerhouse. She improved our financial position, the
This is a
investments and taking
demonstration of
advantage of funds that are
Wirecast.
only available to municipalities. We didn't even know that existed before we had her help. And it's been super beneficial to us. She improved the relationships that we have with Fort Bend County departments like Road and Bridge. The reason that's important is we're so small that we don't have any police, we don't have any of our own road and bridge, we don't have parks. We rely on our relationship with our county for those types of things, especially for cost sharing and for labor. And we didn't have a great relationship
This
before
is a
that.
demonstration of
Came in, she
Wirecast.
was really instrumental in rebuilding that, and it's been not only a relationship benefit, but a financial benefit to the city. Some of those roads and drainage and things that you heard Christy talk about, those all came about during that time period, and quite a bit of that was to do with other departments being really willing to work with us when they hadn't really lined up for that previously. Jennifer also applied for and managed grant money for us. We had had some small grants before under a previous mayor who was
This
good at
is a
helping us get
demonstration
things
of
like an emergency
Wirecast.
generator. But Jennifer was able to apply for and then manage through almost $2 million worth of grants.
And that is a huge amount of money for a city our size. Our budget, when we got started, was about $500,000 a year, the total budget. So that was big, big money for us. And that 10-year drainage project that you heard mentioned a minute ago when Christy spoke, that was funded primarily with grant money. And it had been developed, I
This
think,
is a
18 years
demonstration
prior.
of
And we had
Wirecast.
never had the money to work on it. And we completed the 10-year segment in 2 years because of that grant money. So that was priceless to us. We have not been able to apply for any grants in the last year since she and Erica came here. And that brings me to last year in August, the city of Brookshire made Jennifer and Erica, but we're talking about Jennifer right now, an offer that Jennifer could not refuse. Because going from a city of less than 1,000 to a city that's almost 6,000 in population.
is a
and all
demonstration
the
of
wonderful things you have
Wirecast.
going here are really important for somebody who is as strong, as educated, and is interested in helping people and growing the future as she is. Because I'd love to keep her in Simonton forever, but her career needs to be much bigger and stronger. And as you have seen when she's been here, she has a whole lot more to give than the pace that we're going to be growing in Simonton. We'll catch up with y'all one day, but it's going to be a long time. Jennifer has unmatched integrity,
This is a
and I would be
demonstration of
delighted to
Wirecast.
work with her again. Thank you.
You wanna do the public hearing next? Okay, we'll move down to agenda number 6, public hearing, proposed tax rate for 2024 and 2025 fiscal year.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Open the hearing at 7:27.
This is a demonstration
wants
of
to start?
Wirecast.
We're gonna accept comments from the public on, and council
Yeah.
on the tax rate.
Just quick math, because I don't have my calculator in front of me, but we're proposing a tax rate deduction, or again, this year. What's the I see the actual numbers, what's the percentage deduction? Do you know what it is?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
It's gone down from .5098387 to .56515.
Presentation at the beginning of the hearing, so everybody knows in the audience, and then you can open it up to public comment. It's really not the time to get into deliberation up here, it's really just to receive comments from the public, just a public hearing. But I do like that stuff up record.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Move down to the judge issue.
Yeah, we could.
It's up to council if you want to do that, until we can get
Can
those
we
numbers.
move on?
For them to hear.
Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to this one.
Sorry. Too many, so many books up here.
We'll move down to agenda item number 8, new
This is a
business.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Letter A, discussion about municipal court procedures with Judge Ted Crinick.
Mr. Mayor, and council folks, ladies and gentlemen, I am your municipal judge. Been here how long? 2011, I think. Golly, we got a crowd. I didn't know.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I'm glad to see you. In this country, we basically have 3 branches of government. executive, legislative, and judicial. I'm part of the judicial, and of course, I'm also your justice of the peace since 2003. And I thank the people for continuing to elect me.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Of all the laws that are passed in this state and ordinances by the councils are for enforcement. But for judicial, it all comes down on the criminal side to one statute, the Code of Criminal Procedure. And in that code, Chapter 45 regulates justice court and municipal court.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
They all three branches of government are supposed to complement each other and make society safe and better. Sometime back, we heard, and Ms. Gosistik's here, city prosecutor, about talking about some dismissals. And what we wanted to do here is come to you and kind of explain what's happening. Sometime back, I got a call from Brookshire PD about somebody arrested on a warrant. When I got there, I'm supposed to magistrate them and make an appearance bond or whatever I think's appropriate. And I got looking at that warrant, and I noticed that the officer is no longer employed for a long time. Well, I got to thinking, well, how many are like that?
Demonstration of
We've had some
Wirecast.
turnover, I suppose. We don't tell the police department what to do. And I got to thinking, well, this guy was arrested, but there's no witness to testify against him. So why should we allow that continue to happen? And then I got to thinking about it. What if something bad happened on the side of the highway? Knowing
This
that
is a
we have a lot of
demonstration of
warrants
Wirecast.
that are not able, there can be no testimony because we don't have any witnesses to prosecute that case, okay? So I got with Ms. Gostisnik, and I said, you know what, we got to clean up something here. We don't want something bad, ugly to happen on the side of the highway. How in the world would we explain that? Knowing that we had a bunch of warrants with no complaining witness.
This
Okay.
is a demonstration
So we're
of
here
Wirecast.
to briefly talk to you about that. And Ms. Gostisnik has has a bunch of statistics if you'd like to hear it. But basically, a lot of the dismissals that have been taking place up on the statistics is because we're kind of cleaning house and getting rid of stuff we can't ever hope to enforce or hear in court.
This is a
Okay.
demonstration of
So
Wirecast.
I think that's the better way to do it. In fact, at one time, a capious profile, that's after it's issued after a judgment is issued, and at one time you could never get rid of it. Well, the legislature saw fit about that, and after a while, if you figured that the amount of fine that was imposed upon the defendant
This
is
a
no longer
demonstration
able to
of
be collected,
Wirecast.
we can put them aside. So, but we couldn't do it as a court because it wasn't in the Code of Criminal Procedure. Okay? So, we've been doing that too. And we found that there was a lot of older stuff that was still in the system. You know, as time goes by, sometimes things get misplaced. Memory fails. So
This is a
it's been a little
demonstration
time
of Wirecast.
that we've been taking, and maybe more to come, we'll have a high dismissal rate. Otherwise, on current stuff, the legislature has saw fit to what we call compliance dismissals. To tell you the truth, no case can be dismissed unless I sign off on it. That's in every court. Now, if the prosecutor sees fit that there's no evidence,
Demonstration of Wirecast.
or for whatever reason, I can't stand in the way of that. I mean, why put that person through any kind of extra abuse when there can be no case resolved? Then we have something that the legislature created called compliance dismissals. And those, the judge can dismiss those if certain things happen as far
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
of compliance. Okay, but on its own, the judge cannot dismiss anything unless the prosecutor makes a motion to the court and it goes from there. Okay? Do you have any questions of me? I'm very proud to be your judge, by the way. Okay? I hope I've treated the people well.
I have a comment.
This is a
First off,
demonstration
thank
of Wirecast.
you, Judge Krennick and Ms. Gupta for coming out to speak to us tonight.
Come on, man.
I can say that, it is my opinion that the court should never be considered a source of revenue for the city, okay? And that we've not received any complaints from any of the job that you all are doing from any citizens. So that tells me that things are going well, okay? And, if our police department are working with the citizens when they stop them, if they see fit to give them a warning and not harassing anyone, then things are going fine. So I see no issues with anything you all are doing, and I appreciate you. Appreciate y'all's work, okay?
One more thing. Do anybody remember Ferguson, Missouri?
Yes.
There was a alleged black fella, young man, alleged of doing some theft.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Police officer, that was white guy, he thought he found the suspect. Well, before the officer got out of his car, the guy kind of whipped the hell out of the officer right there sitting behind in the driver's seat. So and then walked off. Well, the officer got out of his car and told him to halt, and the guy turned around and was going to come back.
This is a demonstration of
Now,
Wirecast.
he was not armed with anything, but he was a pretty good man, pretty big man. The officer probably thought, I don't know what was in his head, but I probably, if common sense was, I don't think I'm going to take another licking. And he killed the young man. Well, at that time, the United States Justice Department came down to Ferguson, Missouri, and did a real good audit of that city. And they found
This
kind
is
of
a
like the
demonstration
revenue
of
of the
Wirecast.
court was kind of funding the police department. And that's what they came. What about it? And I won't go any further in that. But the Texas legislature listened to that and have made changes to certain laws in the code to reflect that stuff where there will be no revenue type
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
encouragement, like Councilman Richards you were talking about. Okay, Dora Ann, do you have something?
Hi, I'm Dora Ann Gostisnik. I've served as the City of Brookshire prosecutor since September of 2006. So I just finished my 18th year working for y'all. I've worked with a lot of different councils, mayors, police chiefs, police departments, court staff. We have 3 dockets every month. We have an initial appearance.
This
That's
is a
when someone
demonstration
has
of
first gotten their ticket and they
Wirecast.
come to court and they enter their plea. We also have a show cause where people come to court that have missed a court date, or it's a docket where the people we have to give them one more chance before a warrant can be issued in case they miss their court date unexpectedly. And our second court date those are all on the second Thursday of the month. And the fourth Thursday of the month, we have our trials and pretrial docket. And I'd just like to say, at our initial appearance docket, that is where I do dismiss cases
This
for
is a
compliance. That is,
demonstration of
somebody was
Wirecast.
cited for failure to display their driver's license, failure to show their insurance, defective equipment such as a headlight or a taillight was out, expired registration. They get those taken care of, they come to court, this legislature requires us to dismiss them as long as they provide proof. Typically, at initial appearance, we are not dismissing because we don't have evidence or an officer because I don't know that at that time. I do not see every citation that is written. I only see the ones that come and make it onto the initial appearance docket. A lot of people take
This
care of
is
their
a
citations
demonstration
before
of
court,
Wirecast.
at the window. I have no access to numbers, but I do have access to my dockets for the last few years. In 11 months that I had records from 2023, we had 593 citations that came for initial appearance, and I dismissed 41 of those for 6.9%. In 2024, in the 9 months we've had so far, we have had 366 violations come before the court, and I've dismissed 19 at initial appearance. I will fully say, pretrials are a little higher.
Demonstration of
Because
Wirecast.
at pretrial, I get the videos, I get the police reports, I look at the evidence, I sit down and see whether the case should go forward or not. In 2023, we had 102 violations that went to pretrial, and I dismissed 36 of those, so about 35%. That could be that the officers were no longer employed. We've had 3 police chiefs in a little over 2 years, which had a lot of turnover. I can't have a case go to trial if I don't have a witness. It may have been that I thought that the violation didn't happen after I watched the evidence, or
This is a
there's-
demonstration
or
of
there could have been a
Wirecast.
compliance in there. I don't have a breakdown on what I do for compliance versus what I do because I think of lack of evidence. In 2024, we have had 23 pretrial violations so far in 9 months, and yeah, I dismissed 9 of those. Like the judge said, we had a process where we were cleaning up a lot of old stuff, so I fully admit, I totally believe I've dismissed more citations in 2024 or even in 2023 than were written. But they were old tickets. A lot of those tickets were from the late 90s,
This is
early
a
2000s,
demonstration
long
of
before I even
Wirecast.
became prosecutor. But, so yes, we have, but I just wanted to clear that up, that the current citations, there's not a high number that are getting dismissed that are not compliance for other things. Police officers are doing a good job. We see that. That's why we don't have many trials, because we settle them at the pretrial stage. Again, if I make a plea deal with a defendant at pretrial, offer them a deferred disposition or a defensive driving, those get dismissed if they comply.
This
So
is
that
a
is a motion to
demonstration
dismiss
of
that goes on the
Wirecast.
record, but the city has taken in revenue, even though we're not talking about revenue on that. So a motion to dismiss does not necessarily mean that the city is not taking in something on that citation. But if anybody has questions, I'd be glad to explain it.
So just to be clear, my question was, from the budget meeting, and I think you just explained it, I want to be sure I understand it, is that the way we can have more tickets dismissed than citations recorded is because you actually can dismiss something that may be multiple
This
years
is
old
a
that was recorded
demonstration of
previous years.
Correct, correct.
Okay, okay.
We were dismissing tickets from decades ago, trying to clean up things that the judge had
Got
decided
it.
needed.
That makes perfect sense. When I first saw it, I was like, how can we dismiss more than we have? It was confusing.
Right, no, we were dismissing a lot of old citations. Anything else? Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Judge.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Yeah. Okay, let's continue on, please. We're gonna go back to public hearing on proposed tax rate for 2024-2025 fiscal year. It is 744.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Mayor, council, audience, I assume you can hear me. Really, for the benefit of the audience and for council, you have this information, they may not. I think it's appropriate for staff to just kind of give you a really brief presentation on where we are on the proposed tax rate and what the implications are, and then we'll open it up to public comments. So last year's tax rate was 0.59387. This year's proposed tax rate is 0.56514,
This is a
which is your
demonstration
voter
of
approval tax rate. So
Wirecast.
since it's not above the voter approval tax rate, there is no need to have an election on the matter. It is above your no new revenue tax rate, which is 0.50060, which I think y'all all know that we're adopting essentially a lower tax rate, but because of increases in property value, the actual revenue generated by the lower tax rate produces more revenue than what was produced last year. So at this time, I think we'll open it up to public comment, Mayor.
This is a demonstration
Thank you.
of Wirecast.
Mr. Green,
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Ms. Taylor,
I don't have anything.
Mr. McNally,
I'm good now, thank you.
Ms. McDade.
I don't have anything.
So now we can do our little vote.
Mayor, this is simply a public hearing, so I think we open it up to the audience to see if
To the
anybody would like to
audience.
speak about the proposed tax rate.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I know it's
Ask
exciting
anyone
stuff.
if they want to speak about it.
Yes, sir. Okay,
It's lower, correct? It is.
yes.
It's lower?
Yes, ma'am.
2 years in a row?
Yes, yes.
Mayor, if there are no public comments, I think you can close the public hearing.
I am.
This
Just
is a
writing down the
demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay, now we can go to agenda item number 7. Consider and take action on consent agenda items listed on the consent agenda are considered routine and are generally enacted in one motion. The exception to this rule occurs when a council member requests one or more items removed from the consent agenda
This is a
for separate
demonstration of
discussion
Wirecast.
and action. And we have letter A, bills paid. Letter B is municipal court report, 2024, I'm sorry. And letter C is resolution ratifying convention center amendments.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Mr. Mayor, I'd move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
A second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next is B, discuss and
This is a
possible action
demonstration of
to approve
Wirecast.
resolution adopting new economic development committee bylaws.
So we can have a little discussion on this one. So the state bylaws allows 10 miles outside the city. The city of Brookshire
This is a
implemented a
demonstration of
bylaws
Wirecast.
that more stringent than the state, less than the state. So that therefore the city of Brookshire said that anyone that want to be on the EDC board must reside in the city of Brookshire. So I made a motion that we adopt the state bylaws, and that would not create confusion as we are dealing with right now. So I would like to make a motion that we accept
This
the
is a demonstration of
bylaws
Wirecast.
as written by the state of Texas that allows 10 miles outside the city.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Nay.
Oh, I thought somebody said something.
Nay.
This is
No.
a
Oh,
demonstration
you
of
got a nay?
Wirecast.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I didn't hear you. Okay. Letter C, discussion and possible action to accept resolution appointing Beatrice Campion to the Economic Development Committee based on recommendations of the Economic Development Committee Board.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Mayor, I spoke with Ms. Campion, and she is no longer interested in holding that position.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Yes, ma'am.
The reason I chose not to be a part of it is because I do permits, and I don't want it to get conflicts with me doing permits and being an EDC.
I would also like to have some discussion about this. So,
This is a
the
demonstration
Economic
of
Development
Wirecast.
Board, we had a number of vacancies on the board. The Economic Development Board program was suspended because of some controversy for quite a while. There were no meetings, nothing going on. We had 4 or 5 vacancies on the board. I went around, we waited for applications to come in. No one submitted applications. I went around,
This
because
is a
I do like
demonstration of
diversity,
Wirecast.
I went around to go speak with people. I went to go speak with Misty in the mobile park, home park, asked her, did she want to be on the board? She never got back with me, so I guess she decided not to. Also, we had Ms. Guy was on the board. We nominated also her husband on the board, and there was some issues with that. So Ms. Guy was not renominated on the board, and her husband decided that
This
because
is
she
a
wasn't
demonstration
nominated, he
of
decided not to
Wirecast.
continue to be on the board. Okay, so I also got with the EDC administrative assistant and asked her, did she know any Caucasians or any Hispanics that wanted to be on the board, or any African Americans? She gave me some names. I called around to those people. Some of them had no longer lived in Brookshire anymore. So we continue to have vacancies, and after that point, Miss Odie decided she wanted to be on the board. Lyndon Stamps decided he
This is a
wanted to be on the
demonstration
board.
of Wirecast.
So we nominated them. Along that lines also, Nathaniel Richardson, who had previously served on the board for 3 terms in the past, although he did not live in the city, and the bylaws also said that you must live in the city, he was allowed to reside on the board for 3 terms. So we nominated him, and then we found out some people complained and said that he didn't live in the city, so we had to get him off the board
This
because
is a
he didn't live in
demonstration
the
of
city.
Wirecast.
So, and that's why I said that the state bylaws, I made a recommendation that we need to stick with the state bylaws, and that would have not had that confusion. So that is the history of what we have now. Okay, it's why our EDC board is structured the way it is right now.
Mr. Green, you have anything?
No, sir.
Do we need to take an
This is
action
a
to not
demonstration
approve
of
that, or do we just
Wirecast.
ignore it? Okay.
I think that just that it sounds like y'all need some more board.
One more.
Well, one more.
So my recommendation would.
I know there's at least one application that's in right now.
Is there?
Yeah.
We'll just put it on generally as an appointment for the next meeting, so that whether that person decides to
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Now, let's go to letter D, discussion and possible action to approve opening an investigation into a check written by Jeremiah Hill.
Okay, I would like discussion on this one. I asked for this particular item to be added to the agenda, and I actually requested that, and I know that maybe it was a miscommunication, that there was a investigation into the $19,000 check and any other financial dealings on the city side. And I can tell you right now that the citizens, before I was elected, the citizens had issues with the things that happened concerning some things with the EDC area. Okay, so we in the board inherited this particular situation. And there was some actions taken on the situation with EDC. And I can tell you that if things were done properly from the very start, before we got elected, we would not be here with this item on here. If things were done right, audits and different things were done right, on the EDC side and the city side, we would not continue to find different things that we have to go look at. So this needs to be finished because it just needs to go away. It's a black cloud over Brookshire. And so we need to get past it. The audits need to happen. When there are issues and concerns about money and different things, a complete audit needs to be done of everything, okay? Because it's taxpayers' money, okay? So I'll make a motion that we do this and hire an independent investigator to come in and look at this $19,000 check and any other financial dealings on the city side so we can complete this and finish it.
I second.
There was a forensic audit that was requested by the previous council. Has that forensic audit been completed, or is it still underway as we started it?
They attempted to start it, and they were refused information from several employees to be able to get into bank accounts and financial systems. So it has not moved.
That's two different, from what I understand, those are two different situations, okay?
I'm just going off your comment that you said that there was a lot of fiscal things that hadn't happened, audits and other things, and that if those things that had occurred, we wouldn't be in this situation. So perhaps it's better if we were to focus on doing an overall audit rather than trying to nitpick individual checks from throughout the year and hiring individual investigators over and over again to look at one-off items. We'd be better served to do a complete audit of all these items, which would be investigated, and do that instead.
Well, the forensic audit that you're speaking of is an audit of the financials of the entire city of Brookshire financial accounting system. Okay, this particular incident concerning Mr. Hill and EDC is different than that. But if you want to wrap all that in together, that's fine. My point in saying is that when things happen before,
I absolutely agree with you. We have a lot of issues with that.
Let me finish. When things happened before, it was a responsibility of staff to go and do the proper things, secure the documents, secure the computers, do a proper investigation, inform the council, and do a proper audit of everything that anybody touched. Because it's my experience, if you took one thing, it most likely it's more. But
I agree with the possibility, which is why I'm suggesting we do a forensic audit of all the books. I know that we've finally got Ms. Ward was able to re-engage us with an auditor that is actually going to conduct and complete an audit this year for the city. So we're going to have the standard audit done, and if there are concerns, then rather than focus on one item, as you said, because there could be many, we ought to do an overall forensic audit of everything.
Let me say something. Previously, when someone stole from the city, they were prosecuted. Why is this different? It should not be different. Right is right and wrong is wrong. It should be no different. Somebody said move on with this. No, we cannot move on with this.
Let me.
But then
I wanna-
Mr. Richards suggested we move on with it. I believe that I would support that we move on. But again, my point is simply that I'm not saying we don't need to prosecute anybody. If there's wrong done, then we should definitely go after them.
Wrong is
Whoever,
wrong.
I
Whatever it
agree.
is.
But let's look at everything then. Let's not look at one item. Let's look at everything that could be out there over the last 3 years, because we don't know what else might have happened.
Okay.
We accidentally
so,
found one thing in the process of doing this. And so let's investigate all of them. Let's do a forensic audit of everything.
What I'm not understanding is why is it so difficult with this person? That's what I'm not understanding, and it is a black cloud that's hanging over the city.
This is a
If
demonstration
the
of Wirecast.
city had done an audit when it's supposed to have done an audit, the auditors will reach out to all the employees, and the auditors will ask the employees if they thought anyone was stealing. That is the proper procedure. But they didn't get a chance to because an audit hadn't been done in 2 years. And now we have these questionable things. You saying just this one thing, but we don't know how many. Because the previous
That is my point.
investigation was just for EDC.
So let
I
me
mean,
explain.
and I'm gonna add this out there. When I brought it up and I asked Ms. Ward about it, she wasn't aware of the check. She went and got it. She gave me a copy of it. But her response to me is what really bothered me. And her response to me was, I know where you got the information from. If there was something questionable about a $19,000 check, who cares where I got the information from? If there was a law that was broken, if a council member is conducting business and going around city council procedure, that's what took place. It went around council procedure. There was no checks and balances on this. And we don't know how many other checks are out there. So, yes, an audit would have helped. Audit would have exposed all of this stuff a long time ago.
So let's do the forensic audit of all the books.
But the
and not
investigation
one.
is being held up because there's other information out there.
Now, there is an audit, and correct me if I'm wrong. We have authorized an audit for 2022. Is that correct? We have authorized. Right. So there's audits that have already been authorized for those years.
Absolutely. I'm not talking about a
It's
regular
already
audit.
done.
I'm talking about a
Okay.
forensic
Demonstration
audit,
of
which will
Wirecast.
look at the level of detail that you're talking about, but it won't focus on just one item. It will focus on every transaction that occurred.
How long
So
would that take?
let's look at all of them and find out what, if there's, I keep hearing you say there might be other things. Eileen just intimated that she thinks there are tons of other things that have been done wrong. Let's find them all. Let's find all of them. So let's do a forensic audit that looks at everything, not nickel and dime, one particular item at a time.
Okay, I agree. So let's do this.
Wirecast.
Let's do a two-stage audit. The one stage audit is going to focus on Mr. Hill and his transactions on the city side. We've completed EDC on the city side, and then we'll do a forensic audit for the rest of the city.
I can support that, absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because if we do a forensic audit as you're suggesting for the whole thing, it could take 2 years.
We've
And
requested it already.
And that's why
Demonstration
we
of
need this
Wirecast.
separate, okay?
I'm
Because the
fine with that.
EDC side has already revealed. So that's why this needs to be separate, okay?
But let's do them simultaneously then. Let's start, if we're gonna start one audit, let's do the other one simultaneously and get
And
them
we
both
can
going.
get past it, and we're done with this, and whatever comes out of it, we're done with.
So would you amend your motion to include a forensic audit of all the books for the last 3 years?
Oh, yes,
Would you amend your motion
This
to
is a
include a
demonstration
forensic
of
audit of all the
Wirecast.
books for the last 3 years?
two-stage.
Right, so amend it, so you've already made the motion to do for Jeremiah Hill. I'm asking you to amend it to add that we would conduct a forensic audit of all transactions for the last 3 years.
Yes, as long as we do a first stage audit for the $19,000 check and any other financial dealings with him and his company with the city.
I want to add something in here. I'm going to defer to the attorney because I was under the impression that
This
when
is
the
a
initial
demonstration of
investigation was
Wirecast.
done on Mr. Hill, Mr. Richards had made a motion in a previous meeting to extend that investigation to include the $19,000 check. But I'm going to defer to the attorney because they've had
No,
communication
that-
with Mr. Tidwell.
No, that,
I mean, I'm not sure it really matters if that included it. If it's a little redundant, it's redundant. So if you want to amend your motion to include both, that's fine.
and we keep saying $19,000 check.
demonstration of
I said
Wirecast.
$19,000 check and any other transactions. See the play on words. Any other transaction, make sure that's in there. Okay, with Mr. Hill and his companies with the city of Brookshire.
Just for
Yeah.
clarification, we're talking about a forensic audit, which is a little different than the investigation that you hired Mr. Tidwell to do.
Right.
So at some point, I think we're gonna have to bring back proposals for such audit, unless you would like to seek a proposal from I said we've already hired somebody to do our annual fiscal. audit.
Yes, Baker Tilly
This
is
is a
doing an
demonstration
audit
of
starting with
Wirecast.
2021 coming forward.
I mean, typically, when you have these types of fiscal audits, if they hone on a certain area that the numbers don't line up, they'll further investigate. I don't know if you want to let that process play out before you have them do forensic, or
No,
make a proposal for a total forensic.
I would like to hire Mr. Tidwell again to do the investigation on the $19,000 check and any other transactions. And whoever you want to hire for forensic audit on the city side, that's
This
fine.
is a
Because he did a
demonstration
great
of
job.
We
Wirecast.
will engage Mr. Tidwell and have him give you all an engagement letter, and you can consider it that.
And what I'm asking is that we amend that to include the fact that we move forward with the forensic audit that's already been requested by staff, and that gets started immediately.
That's part of the motion.
Okay.
So we will also seek engagement letters from not only our auditors that we've hired, but maybe some other firms as well, so y'all have some choices.
Okay. We have your motion.
This is a
You
demonstration
still
of
second the amended motion?
Wirecast.
I second it already.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, letter E, discussion and possible action regarding communication between administration and council.
This is one of my items. I do want better communication between the city
This is a
council and
demonstration of
administration.
Wirecast.
A lot of things that happen within the city, we're pretty much left out of it, like we don't exist. I mean, a lot of things going on we don't know anything about. So if we can get better communication, example, as far as who's at work, who's not at work, your schedule, what time you come to work. A lot of times I drop in, hardly nobody's here. Just Beatrice and Miss Yolanda
This is
and a few others.
demonstration of
So,
Wirecast.
I mean, that should be communicated to us when you're here, when you're leaving, when you're off. Transactions is being made every time I come. It's Amazon truck here, packages. Transactions being made. Cameras being changed. Different things that we don't know anything about. So I feel as if we deserve that. We're the city council board, and we deserve to know what's going on within the city.
And also, I provided a list of
Demonstration
10
of
outstanding
Wirecast.
items that we've been waiting on answers for. And I've asked for it over and over again and not gotten anything. You know, like the blue building over there, the maintenance on the building, different things like that. Does anyone have an answer for those 10 items for us?
We do.
I have the list, I just
Well,
finished it.
I mean, Ms. Mack, some of these items that's on this agenda is just, to me, a waste of time. This communication thing and all of that
This is a
could be handled and
demonstration of
dealt with
Wirecast.
without bringing this in a public forum.
Absolutely.
If we got the right communication, it wouldn't have to end up on the agenda. That's the issues. Okay?
Well, my understanding is that council is not supposed to be, and correct me if I'm wrong on this from our attorney, but council's job is not to be running the day-to-day operations of the city, right? We are the policy-making board, not the day-to-day operations board.
This is a demonstration of
Well,
Wirecast.
what Ms. McDade is speaking of, if we're told that we need to get with Ms. Milano if we need anything, then we would like to have an out-of-office notification. How am I going to get with you if I, you know, that's what she's speaking of, you know? So it, yeah.
That makes sense.
Any further
This
discussion?
is
No,
a demonstration
no
of
action.
Wirecast.
No action, just move along.
Okay. Letter F, discussion and possible action to approve financial support for a local Veterans Day event.
Yes.
This is a demonstration
This was a
of
request
Wirecast.
from Mr. Austin Stevens. He wants to have a Veterans Day event that he does every year. He's going to have it at the hangar. He's trying to get like a helicopter to come in, some of the soldiers to come in. And it's for everyone in the city who would like the city of Brookshire participation. And he's requesting $2,500 support for this event.
Was there a budget for that money submitted? I don't have anything in my packet.
No,
This is a
I think,
demonstration
Jennifer,
of
you said that you were better
Wirecast.
get those funds from what particular account?
I get the, but a budget for how that money is going to be spent. Was there, when that request came in, was there any budget that said, did we want to spend $500 on this, $500, $300 on
No,
that?
I did go over it in budget, although I didn't have any, supplemental documentation to go with it. I did add a Veterans Day event into the special events line item that was for $85,000.
This previous council has put out a requirement that any event of the city
This is a
have a budget for all city
demonstration of
funds
Wirecast.
spent that's presented and approved by city council before those funds are issued. And so I was just looking for that documentation. I did not find it. So we have nothing that says this is what they want to use the $2,500 for.
No, we had,
Go ahead, sir.
I
We-
didn't think he was here. He's right there.
I did bring that up in the budget. I did put $2,500 for the Veterans Day event in there, and that was just, I didn't even know that was
This is a
the request
demonstration
amount.
of Wirecast.
That was just the amount that I put in there. We put $2,500 for Veterans Day, $2,500 for National Night Out, $2,500 for Trunk or Treat.
Wonderful, and I think it's fantastic that you're thinking ahead and putting those things into the budget. Again, I'm just coming back saying, we just had a 15-minute discussion about how funds from the city are not being spent and accounted for a proper way. So now we're going to write a blank check for $2,500 to somebody, and they've said nothing about how they're going to spend that money or what they're going to spend it on.
Hold on, sir.
So,
Hold on. I'll let you speak.
I just would like, and since that was already been requested by city council, that any money for events be
Wirecast.
pre-approved by a budget, I was just looking for that information.
Could Mr. Austin come up and explain? I didn't
Mr.
see you
Austin?
back there, sir.
I was born and raised in Brookshire, Texas. And until 2 years ago, when I came before the city council and asked for some financial help, everybody in here stood up. After you said the Lord's Prayer, you turned and you saluted that flag. Did you or did you not?
Yeah.
Okay, there are people that made it possible for you to salute that
This is a
flag. For
demonstration
2 years,
of
I've been turned down
Wirecast.
any support, and me and my company has footed the bill. And I come before you asking for a little support so I can make this event a little bit better.
Fantastic, sir.
Every
Please
year.
tell me what you want to spend the money on.
Okay, didn't I tell you I'll get you that? I'll get you a budget. But I didn't know it was required to come to this meeting to have. But if that's what you want, I'll get you a budget for it. Because if I have to do it again myself, Mr. McNally, I'll do it again myself.
This is a
Fantastic.
I'm asking,
demonstration
okay,
of
so I'm asking the
Wirecast.
city to help me to make
And
it
I'm
a
not
better
saying,
event.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't.
What I'm saying is, if you want a budget, I'll get you a budget. When do you want me? Give me a deadline.
Well, when would you like the funds?
I need the funds by the 11th of November.
Before the 11th of November, so if
Okay,
you
give me a deadline, sir.
have it for next city council meeting.
Okay, I'll have it for you.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Okay. Need a motion on that?
We don't.
Okay.
This is a
Thank you.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Okay. Do we want to,
Already almost done.
we
It's up to you, Mayor.
I mean,
do the executive session?
well, we have a copy of the transactions unless somebody want to speak on anything about
What?
it. This is the copy.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
You want to save it for executive?
Okay. We'll move on to letter G, discussion and possible possible regarding city credit card use and uses including all 2024 transactions.
I did ask for this information and I was provided all the usage. Haven't had
This
time
is
to
a
go through it.
demonstration
So
of Wirecast.
I'll come back to
But
it.
I went through a few.
You went through a few? Well, you
During the
can speak
meeting
on
and,
something you see.
Again, this is another item that should have never made it to the agenda to be discussed in public forum. And I can tell you that just from browsing through these transactions, it's concerning. Very. So I'll just leave it at that, okay?
In the past, all payments and invoices was
This is a
given to
demonstration of
council.
Wirecast.
And for a council member to request it, and I think it's a little disturbing. In fact, I remember when we made the motion to start receiving those, all payments, invoices, including credit card uses, everything that had to do with the city. That's all I have.
I mean, so since we're discussing it,
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
would you be able to provide who has credit cards?
Sure, it's all the department heads, so it's Sherry Brandt, James Hines, Erica, myself, and the mayor.
Thank you.
Just for the record, I'll say that I also spent several hours today looking through this, and I didn't find anything that
This is a
disturbed me at all about these
demonstration of
charges. I felt they were
Wirecast.
all appropriate and normal for the operation of a city. Yes, that would be included in the audit, absolutely.
Okay. You finished? I didn't mean to cut you off. Agenda item H, discuss and possible action to go out for bid for a new trash service contract.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
So we already made a motion to do that.
I have a question on this particular one. And since we know trash is a touchy subject, right? When it was in the water bill, it seemed to be less confusion. And I don't know if there's any way to get the trash bill back there or not. Maybe, but since it's not in the water bill
This
and
is a
the citizens
demonstration
have
of
to make an
Wirecast.
individual payment with it, it just seems to be,
The water board refused to continue to bill.
right, I know. The water board refused to continue to bill, but I don't know if it's something we can work out with them with an interlocal agreement, or I just don't know if.
I've been in communication with a few of the board members, and they really don't want to, because of all of the
This
negativity
is a demonstration of
that was done
Wirecast.
by the previous board. Accusations of them stealing when they didn't steal. Then we had a joint meeting and we found out that, dude, the comptrollers charged the city and the water district. So it was no theft. The water district previously handled that account for only 75 cents per household. 75 cents. They didn't make any money off of it.
This is a
So they were really
demonstration
just
of
doing it
Wirecast.
for the citizens of the community.
But the amounts that were being charged were inaccurate. There were issues where the rate had been changed and hadn't been updated by
That wasn't the water
board
district's fault.
district.
When the trash.
I'm not saying it's anybody's fault. I'm saying is that when we had another party doing it, there was a lot of issues with it. For whatever reason, the breakdown in communication.
Okay, let me explain to you. When the rates were changed, they came directly to the city, and it was left up to the city to
This
get that
is a
information over to the
demonstration
water
of
district so they
Wirecast.
can change the rates on the water bill.
And they did that, I understand. I understand that that information was indeed conveyed multiple times, and the water district didn't change the rates.
Well, how is it working right now?
Well, they're no longer billing us for us at this point.
No, what I mean is, how is the billing service going right now? We're having issues with everybody paying. Well, no, I won't say I won't lump everybody in. There are some people that's paying, but
This
it
is a
would go more
demonstration of
efficiently
Wirecast.
if it was on the water bill because you knew someone was there. And what we've done is created a new bill for people who are not used to paying an extra bill. I don't know very many senior citizens who want to come up here and pay a trash bill. I struggle.
You
with
don't
my
have to
mom.
come here to pay
I
it.
struggle with my mom to get her to come pay her trash bill. But now, some citizens can't get up here.
You don't have to come here.
And I'm getting to that. I had to help
This
my
is a
mom with hers
demonstration of
over the phone.
Wirecast.
Some people are just not tech savvy. And what we want to do is just make it convenient for our citizens. That's all we're trying to do. This is not a blame game. The whole point of the trash service, of us talking about this, is just to make it convenient for our citizens. That's it.
Right. Well, billing is a completely separate issue from the trash service in general. I mean, this is about going out to bid for trash service, regardless of who actually winds up billing it. If we're going to go out for bid, that's
This
a
is
different issue than
demonstration
how we
of
bill it.
Wirecast.
It would need to be discussed.
Yeah.
But if we want to go out for bid, then that would be this discussion. When the previous council went out to bid, when Republic announced to us that they were not going to continue with our trash service, that they would no longer do that, we went out for bid. We only received one bid for trash service, and that was from Texas Pride. So we didn't have a lot of options and choices in who to pick from. So I would not be opposed at all to sending it out
This is a
again to see if there is
demonstration of
perhaps somebody
Wirecast.
else that would be willing at this point to do that service. I have not been impressed with Texas Pride. They have not given any kind of stellar service as far as garbage pickup. I just don't know who or what we might get that would be different. I hope we do, but
So I have a question for you. So we have a 4-year contract with the
it's a
current.
3-year contract with 1 year renewable.
I thought I read 4-year in the document I got today. 4-year. So.
What, you can,
It's
This is a
Republic was
demonstration
3-year.
of Wirecast.
oh, so this is 4-year with
So-
no rollover? Okay.
So, what is going to happen when we go out to bid and we find another trash company that's better? What's going to happen with the contract requirements and obligation that we have with this existing company?
If you look under the section of this contract under terminations, there are several, I think, outs that we have, one of which is failure to comply with the terms of the contract. I know that Ms. Molina and Ms. Ward have been documenting for several months now the gross
This is a
negligence of
demonstration of
Texas Pride
Wirecast.
in collection services, in missed days, and there have been days when they missed whole neighborhoods and didn't pick up. That's a gross violation of this
Yeah.
contract. So we could easily terminate this contract, I believe. Do you believe we have a foot to stand on there? Oh, okay, easily in the law. Do you believe we have a foot to stand on in terminating that?
This is not a topic of discussion for open session. I'm going to need to look at the actual agreement to be able to advise you about
Well,
This is a
the,
demonstration of Wirecast.
the,
3.5 years.
From when?
January 1st, 2024.
So this is a recent.
Yes.
right, and,
I tell you what, we're gonna have an executive session at some point tonight. One of those things is consultation with attorney, and it's absolutely perfectly legal for me to talk about it as an agenda item in executive session. So I have some thoughts, we can spend about 5 minutes back there, but it's not gonna be resolved tonight.
okay, but I want to ask one question, okay, and the terms and conditions that you're speaking of are listed in the reporting part of this contract, right?
This is a demonstration
So,
of Wirecast.
but I want to ask the question to, I think, have you all been documenting incidents with this? Do you feel that you all have enough information to cancel the contract if need be?
Again,
Okay, well,
let me take a look.
all right.
That's a legal question.
Move it to executive session.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Can we go ahead and do that now? I was supposed to.
Yes, if you'd like to.
I was,
What?
okay. I, never mind. Anyway. Letter I, discussion and possible action, go out for bids for a new banking and treasury service.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
I can speak on that. I know earlier in the year, I think it was maybe January 2024, that's when the bank was changed from Wells Fargo to another bank, right? Or was it prior to that?
It was prior.
Okay. I just think the city should support their own. Moving the city funds to another
This is a
bank
demonstration of Wirecast.
from Brookshire, I'm not pleased with that. I know somebody said Wells Fargo wasn't doing their job, but I know that the city has been with Wells Fargo for years. So suddenly they're not doing their job. I think that we should, I know it's only Wells Fargo, maybe another bank, but I think that we should look at giving our own local banks.
With banks that are in Brookshire, that have branches in Brookshire, you only have two
This
choices.
is a
That's what I just
demonstration
said.
of
Right,
Wirecast.
so, Wells Fargo,
Can you not interrupt me? Let me finish.
I thought you had finished, I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
no.
Can you announce to us when you're finished? Thanks.
No, I don't have to announce. You interrupt
Apparently you
everybody.
need to, because you paused long enough for me to make a comment.
Mr.
so-
McInerney.
You need to pipe it down.
You need to pipe it down.
One more. I've asked you twice.
Yeah, ask her.
You're the one that's interrupting.
Go ahead. Let's do business, not sit here and argue.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Anyway, I'd like to make a motion to bid on.
Point of order, can we have discussion before a motion is made?
Take a deep breath.
You need to, yeah.
Technically, you're supposed to have a motion on the floor. So I think having a motion in a second, then we can enter into deliberation, and take action.
Okay.
So as I was saying, I'd like to make a motion to bid on other banks besides the bank we have right now.
This is a
Locally.
demonstration of Wirecast.
A second.
You can.
Okay, I just want to make you have an understanding that the bid goes out, it's not specific to local, it has to go out and be published. And so then what bids we get back are the ones that we
fine.
look at.
Okay, thank you.
But I would like to hear your explanation, because I have one also, so I would like to hear your explanation.
My explanation.
There's a motion on the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
Okay. A second.
He seconded.
Mr. Richards has seconded, yes.
Do we have a second?
Yes, Mr. Richards seconded.
All in favor?
Can we have discussion first?
Yes.
You say yes.
Can I speak now? I don't want to interrupt anyone. Okay. So we only have two options for banks here. That would be Wells Fargo and Stellar. Wells Fargo failed to provide services to the city, not suddenly, but over at least a 4-year period that I sat either
Administration
up
of
here or in
Wirecast.
there. And I had better attendance than many city council members at city council meetings for the 2 years prior to me being elected. I was here. And it was repeatedly asked and mentioned in city council meeting that there were issues and problems happening with Wells Fargo refusing to pay checks to employees and to vendors when we had millions of dollars in their account. We asked repeatedly for Wells Fargo to provide customer service representatives to be available at this meeting, either in person or via the telephone. Wells Fargo refused to provide those. When they would provide any kind of customer service, it was only by reaching out to their government services offices, which is back in Denver, not locally. Essentially, the only service that this branch on the corner can provide to us is that we can go over there and drop off a deposit for money. That's the only service that they can provide because they don't even provide government services here. The Stellar Bank, which is now got a new name, I think.
This
It's
is a
Stellar.
demonstration
Oh, it changed to
of
Stellar, okay.
Wirecast.
I know that we also reached out to them for a bid when we went out last time, and they have such limited government services available because they're such a small bank that they were not able to provide a lot of the services that New First was able to. And so they opted, I believe, not to. Did they even put a bid in?
They did. They put in a bid.
Okay.
Their cost of doing business was higher than New First, and they had several products that weren't available on
Right.
the public administration
This is a
side.
I remember having that discussion. I just didn't remember if they had
Wirecast.
officially provided a
when we
bid.
went out, when we posted this out to bid, we posted it out for a month. Wells Fargo did not turn in a bid. It was actually taken to Wells Fargo and sent to them. They did not submit a bid when we went out to bid for that. Are there concerns that you feel like because there's some significant measurables that we have since we have changed banks. So, for instance, when we were with Wells Fargo, our general fund operating
This is a
account was
demonstration of
a very
Wirecast.
low interest bearing basic business checking account. We were generating about $4,000 a month in interest on that account. When I first got here, it took me 3 months to get into the Wells Fargo bank account to even know what our financial health was. When I got into that account, we had over $6 million sitting in one account. And if you know anything about banking, you would know that only $250,000 of that is FDI insured, which left us with a huge liability of millions of dollars that could have been lost and uninsured.
This is a
So
demonstration
keep in
of
mind,
Wirecast.
that general fund, we were making about $4,000 a month in interest. Right now, with New First, we have specific governmental public administration products that are specific to our governmental account. They have 3 people that are specifically dedicated to public administration accounts. They only deal with cities, counties, and school districts. Right now, our general fund account, we're averaging between $15,000 and $18,000 in interest just on the one general
This is a
fund account that we
demonstration
have
of
versus the
Wirecast.
$4,000 that we were accruing a month with Wells Fargo. In addition to the fact that our general fund account is now set up to where we have a daily limit of $100,000 a day. At midnight every single night, if we have $100,000 in that account and we get a deposit from the comptroller's office of $300,000, at midnight every single night, that money that is over $100,000 is automatically swept into a high interest-bearing account that ranges from anywhere from 6 to 7% on a monthly
This is a
basis
demonstration
to the
of
ICS
Wirecast.
account and is generating us an additional amount of interest. When that account reaches $750,000 to $1 million, it is then dispersed into CEDAR's accounts, which are specific governmental public administration accounts that have interest rates that range anywhere from 6 to 14% interest rate, and those can be invested in a 12 to 36 week product. We were not offered those options with Wells Fargo. While they may be available, we banked with Wells Fargo for the better part of 14
This is a
years,
demonstration
and nobody
of
ever
Wirecast.
looked at our account and said, these are the options to better invest your money. To be quite honest, if the city of Brookshire has $6, $7, $8, $10, $15 million in their account, if we're not spending it at that time, we need to have it in an account where it's invested wisely so that it's making money for us when we're not spending it.
Well, you said the key word. You said the key word while those services may be available, because I went to Wells Fargo
Demonstration
Bank,
of Wirecast.
okay, and I asked them, do they support government type work? Wells Fargo is a huge bank, a big bank, okay, and they told me that they do, and they didn't understand why the city of Brookshire moved their money. And I can tell you that we need to support. We have an EDC department here at the city of Brookshire for economic development, and we need to support the local banks and the local businesses. We move that money. What if some of the small business owners go to that bank over here and ask for a loan? They're gonna say go to Rosenberg, you know, or someone go and try to give the business loan to start a business. Stella Bank also does that. I check with the city of Patterson, the city of Hempstead. The city of Hempstead have their money in Waller Bank and in Hempstead. The city of Patterson have their money in Stella Bank. I don't understand why we move the money out of this local economy when those banks can provide the same type of service. So I agree with Ms. McDade. Let's go back out for bids so we can look at the
Demonstration of
bids.
Wirecast.
Let us look at them. I know y'all did before. So we want to see.
Well, and I will clarify that the previous council before did look at those bids, and prior to me even being here, council had made a motion and approved to go out to bid prior to me even being here. When I got here, I was just said it was never done. Can you please create the RFP, put the RFP out, and that's what I did. I took the two banks that actually
This
bid on
is a
it. We brought those to
demonstration
council.
of Wirecast.
Council reviewed those and made the decision. From my perspective, it doesn't matter who. Well, let me clarify. Just because you have your money at a local Wells Fargo branch in Brookshire doesn't mean that you're not shopping local. That's a national entity. You're not shopping. It doesn't benefit the residents of Brookshire one way or the other. It's a business is not going to not get a loan because the city of Brookshire doesn't bank with Wells Fargo. We will continue to support Wells Fargo,
Demonstration
but
of Wirecast.
I'm not understanding the rationale there.
Well, just the total lack of service that occurred from Wells Fargo for multiple years, and from my understanding, years before I started looking at it, was rational enough to go out and look for another bank.
There's one thing that I want to discuss, but I'd rather not discuss this in open session.
No, I'll address it because there's a letter in here. It's already been brought to my attention that this council was
This
told
is a
that my husband
demonstration
works
of
at New
Wirecast.
First Bank. I have a certified letter from New First Bank that says that my husband has never been employed by New First Bank.
Liars are out there again.
So if anybody has any additional questions, that letter is in your packet, your council packet. And instead of making the accusation, you want to talk about council communication, I would have appreciated if the people who
This
had
is a
concerns would have come and
demonstration
asked
of
me to my
Wirecast.
face, rather than making the accusation out there about not only myself, but my husband and the integrity that I have in this job. Because I have made this city a substantial amount of money since I've been here, because it was mismanaged and dysfunctional.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Are we done? If that's the end of discussion, we vote?
Demonstration of Wirecast.
We would vote now, right? Because there's a motion on the table? Yeah.
What motion you made? You don't remember?
The motion on the table is to open it back up for bid.
And you second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Okay.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Next, we have J, discussion and possible action regarding hotel motel tax fund, including all transactions in 2024.
What is our current balance for the hotel motel fund?
In the daily business checking, we keep a daily balance of
This is a demonstration of
15,000.
Wirecast.
The remaining is held in an ICS Public Administration Savings Account with a balance of I think it's 209,576.21. Oh, no, sorry. It's
This is a demonstration of
136,125.81. That was the balance as of September the 16th.
Huh?
It's because you didn't meet the requirements for the criteria in order to be able to,
Hey, gentlemen, please. Thank you.
We can
Okay.
move on to the next agenda.
Huh?
We can move on.
that's all you wanted, was just to know the totals?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
That's it. We can move on.
Okay, next item is discussion and about upcoming events. Ms. Green, we'll start with you.
I don't have anything.
Ms. Taylor,
We got the walk in October. The
Which-
cancer
This
walk
is
in
a
October.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Cancel walk. What's the date for that?
What's the date again, Miss? The 19th. October 19th. It's not just, it's a cancer walk for overall, not just breast cancer.
any more? Ms. Taylor,
That's it.
Mr. McAnally?
There are several that are coming up from the police department. Chief, were you planning on mentioning those, or are you okay if I mention them?
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Are you okay if I mention them now?
October 1, and then we'll have, we're doing another coffee with the cop, and this time, that is the actual national
Night
Coffee
out.
with the Cop Day. So we'll be at Baines and 90 at Deluxe Donuts that morning.
October 2nd is National Night Out.
October 1st.
On the 1st, okay. And then you're doing a trunk or treat on Halloween?
Yes, sir.
Here?
Yes, sir.
And the library is doing the haunted library for the second year in a row on
This
Halloween
is a
night as
demonstration
well.
of Wirecast.
And of course, we have the continuing food distributions that go on over at the hangar.
Okay. Any more? Oh, Mr. Richards, I'm sorry.
Well, Christmas is coming. I know for the other events, we had a committee.
This is a
So
demonstration of
maybe we can
Wirecast.
discuss getting a committee together for the Christmas event. I led the other ones. I want to give somebody else a chance. Passing it on. Passing the ball.
I'd be happy to volunteer to put that together.
All right. Anyone else?
That's all, we'll move on.
Monique,
I
we've
did
done
it, I
great
did
stuff
it by
together in the
myself for a
past.
long time.
know.
We did,
We've done great stuff together.
Okay, let's move on. Getting late.
Monique and I would be co-chairs for that event. She's, we've worked together a lot and
This
done great
is a
events together.
demonstration
so-
Y'all
of
get
Wirecast.
together and
We could discuss that
Map it
more.
Do we have your blessing, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
What day is that?
The first
Halloween.
On Halloween. Okay.
We'll do another, Miss Denise, we'll do another map.
We'll do another map
Like
like
we
we
did
did last year for the trunk or treat. Because we'll list the
Okay.
library, your event, and then any other events that want to. Yes, we
Is
made a map
demonstration
last
of
year.
Wirecast.
Yeah, I haven't heard from the hangar if they're planning on doing their Halloween event.
With us.
They're going to join with the police officers this year? Okay.
Now, moving to agenda, letter L, discussion and possible discussion Boy, I'm getting tired.
This is a
Discussion about
demonstration of
emergency management
Wirecast.
community and training.
We actually discussed this at the last meeting.
Say that we do need to find one, Ms. Rogers asked to not be on the committee, so we need to find a replacement. Cheryl asked to not be on.
Oh, okay.
But other than that,
Okay.
as soon as training gets underway, any help y'all need with that, just ask me.
Okay.
And then we can get our first meeting.
Okay.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Next, we have agenda item number 9, executive session. Council will convene in executive session pursuant to section 551.074 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the employment of city administrator.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Thank you. Thank
This is a demonstration of Wirecast. 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 This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
Olsen?
Yeah, that's it.
David? Ain't it David? What's his name? David.
He's coming. This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
They got a new young face right there.
Oh, really? Nothing new officer?
Yeah, he looks young,
Yeah, he do.
Mayor, you want me to turn the mic on?
There's nothing gonna be after discussion.
This is a demonstration of Wirecast.
She didn't have it on yet. She don't have it on yet.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a demonstration
Hello?
of Wirecast.
All right.
We go.
It is now 10:06 and we're back from executive session. There's no action taken. So therefore, item 11, the next,
We can table that till next week.
yeah, I forgot that. Thank you, Mr. McNally. Okay.
This is a
It's my favorite item.
demonstration of Wirecast.
Number 12, adjournment.
I move that we adjourn.